Arriving to my mother-in-law's house, it was just so hot inside. The sun had just baked it all day and it was like an oven inside. So I decided to stand out on the porch and just cool down for a minute. It was kind of late afternoon, so the sun had set. And and there was worship music playing on the TV. And, so Sam came out and we were chatting a bit. Sam's my father-in-law, and there was a couple of buckets by him that he had been using to wash a car. And so I grabbed those and cleaned off the bottoms and just put them there on a porch, and we just sat down for a minute. And for me, I was just soaking in the moment. It was cool that Sam sat down too. At one point, I just closed my eyes and felt a cool breeze, and I just felt peace. And then I just kept looking at the sunset and the sky. It was just so beautiful. And as I looked over at Sam, it seemed like he was doing the same. That was something I hadn't seen him do before. Just sit there. He seemed to always be running around. Anyways, at one point he said, I want to go climb up a mountain and just sit on top of a mountaintop. And then it just kind of hit me, well, that's what it's like spending time with God. Just like this. When we're busy, we're just running around doing so many things. But when we spend time with God, it's just like this. Our worries drift, and it's like, oh, that's right. It seemed to make sense to him. Anyway, so we just continue to sit there and just soak in the moment. And I just felt so at peace and so blown away as I just watched Sam sit there as well and soak in the moment. Since we moved up here to the north side of Mexico City, close to Angie's family's house, we started praying for them. We started praying for Ruth, and she is Angie's little sister who is 11. And basically she has attention deficit disorder, and it's just a hard time learning. She can't read. And so anyway, we went over the other day for lunch, and Bede, who's Angie's sister, is 25, said, "Hey Ruth, do you want to tell your sister what happened in class today?" And she said, "Yeah." And it was an impactful moment because I had seen Ruth trying to read and she just literally couldn't. But what she said was, "I read a paragraph in class today. I messed up, but I still read it." And it just blew me away to hear that. And we'd also been praying for Angie's other sister, Kayla, who's 14. Because just with the change to doing online classes, she's just been having a hard time, and it's been a lot of pressure on her to get her homework done, and she actually hadn't turned in any of her homework. And I sat down with them, and I mapped out their homework and tried to help her see and do, and even made a schedule for the day, and a couple weeks later it's still the same result. And so we just decided, and God just led us to invite her over to our house to work over here to leave that environment, because she'd just been there all day, every day. They were really protecting her. And so as she started coming over, the first day she actually got sick, and because she didn't eat breakfast. But then the next day that she was here, she actually finished and turned in 4 assignments. And just to see her face, see it change, and see her confidence that she saw, I can do this. It's just been incredible. So the situation with our neighbors has been tough. Basically since we moved in, we've just always been met with a lot of hostility from one neighbor in particular. And my wife and I were just kind of really fed up with it. We didn't know what to do. And we started to pray, and we've ended up growing a lot in how we process. It's easy to say you decide how you respond, but it's a lot harder when someone's being mean to you and just hostile. And it's not that she did anything, but just even talking to her, just always this really cold shoulder, and like I said, hostility. Anyway, so we've just been praying what to do, and God just started confronting me with His Word. And a verse that really popped out was, "It's easy to love those who love you," and anyone can do that, but it's hard to love those who hate you. And I just felt really convicted with that, because I didn't want anything to do with this woman, really. And basically, just as we prayed, God just brought to mind some different things. But what I observe, it's just in the world right now, it's a lot of hard times economically. And I knew that they were struggling to put food on the table. And so anyways, I just felt led, and we went to the market and picked up a bunch of fresh veggies. And anyway, so I just, I walk over and I knock on the door and just feeling nervous because, I just had a lot of feelings. And, I gave her the bag of veggies and walked away. And basically it's just been crazy since then. Our relationship with her has just completely changed. She smiles at us, we've started talking. We were able to give her some yogurt bacteria, and she gave us a piece of dessert, and it's just completely changed. And I've just felt so blessed and so grateful that God helped us in this situation.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're safe where you're at. Please pray for God's love impacting north side of Mexico City, for Sam, Ale, Vere, Kayla, and Ruth, for strong connection with family and friends, and for my upcoming trip to Colorado. Thank you for the light that you are where you're at, and God bless you guys.